Morning. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, episode 192, for a very special early start time. We have not one, but two dynamic, multifaceted, unbelievable guests on today. Personally, I couldn't be more excited. But first, Uncle Dave, hopping on, and let's get this party started. Let us know how your week is going in the chats, what you guys are super pumped about right now, and let's engage. Let's not be shy this morning. Answer questions. Let's be interactive. You dig? Okay. Guests on today. Don't we always, though? For being honest. 192 episodes in a row, including Wedding Day. Johnny, I see you. I'm going to be on less than 5. There he is. Oh, thank God.
What's up,
Hey,
brother?
how you doing?
I love my wife.
I love Julie, too. She's great. Nice. Where are you?
I'm at home.
How come the early start?
You gotta come out and see our next new studio and office that we have. It's killer.
Where?
In Orange County. So we got SoFi Stadium. Now we got Irvine Tower, 2 stories, one for studio offices, one for mastermind and offices, with beautiful views of Newport Beach. We're blessed.
Yes, we are. And so
come out, do some content with me.
Love to.
There
Okay.
we go.
Are you traveling today?
No, I'm going to a energy session is why we're doing early edition. So I have going to Laguna Beach for a 3-hour energy healing to get all the negative karmic downloads out of me.
Really? That sounds transformational.
Yeah, that is. I do it every once in a while, usually with Dr. and Master Shaw, but I've been turned on to another healer here in Laguna Beach.
Awesome. That sounds great. Can't wait to see what comes through from that.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully, hopefully they won't tell me to stop doing the paradigm shift.
If anything, they'll say double the frequency.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Before we bring on our first guest, which I'm super pumped about, I wanted to ask you a quick question. I know there'll be a nugget to extract. When we were at the mastermind, I think it was a week ago now, you were talking about the big difference between pivoting and expanding. I thought it was very profound. I'd love for you to unpack that before we bring in our first guest.
Yeah, I think, dealing with so many athletes and vets, especially, who have been in a routine for so long, when that career that requires disciplined routine behaviors that are repetitive in their nature, we think of things as pivoting or transitioning. If we've been in a business and the business itself isn't working out, isn't profitable, we think about pivoting or transitioning. I actually know that the only change that occurs is outside of us. And so taking inventory of the capabilities that we have, the skills, the knowledge, the desire that we have, the capabilities of a business, it would only make sense that if we develop or expand the capabilities of ourselves or our business, if we expand the skills that we have, if we expand our knowledge, if we expand the knowledge of who and what, by the way, and we expand our desire, that there would be more opportunities, options, and touches of favor as individuals and as businesses. So for me, I understand the construct of pivoting, and I know that pain will indicate that you have a better place to be, a better position, situation to be in. But I suggest, instead of looking outside for some sort of transition or pivot to something else, to look inside and expand the capabilities that you have as a person, skills, knowledge, and desire, capabilities of a business, which then will elevate the frequency or awareness to more options, opportunities, or touches of favor. In other words, it will allow you, as you give more to yourself, to elevate your awareness to all that you're given. And then, of course, we can teach you to receive that and even ask for more by expanding even further.
I love it. And I love the way that you say the word expand and how you emphasize it. It reminds me of, like, in a relationship, like, you shouldn't want to change each other, but maybe expand each other.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We want to grow in conjunction with each other, create supplementary synergistic value to each other by giving each other more of what we like and taking away some, if not all, of what we don't like. Joining in a neighborhood, it is a frequency, whether it's you and your spouse or whether it's you and your community, should be one in which it's elevated into how can we be of service or value to each other, and who do you know that can be of service or value to each other, which is in its definition expansion.
Beautiful, beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, I'm looking at a beautiful face, and we're bringing on our first guest on today. Johnny, I just requested you. I'm not sure why it's not going through, but you could request me.
Yeah, or make sure he's following you and has an updated IG. It happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
So John, did I tell you I love my wife?
You did, yeah. Is she up? Is she watching this?
No. But I got a
she's definitely
funny story while waiting for John. You want to hear it?
I would love to.
So I have tea every morning. That's what keeps my voice like Wolfman Puck's. Wolfman Jack, sorry. Wolfgang Puck, Wolfman. Anyway, so I've only broke 2 mugs in my life that by accident. And ironically, one morning I got into a disagreement with my wife, and I went downstairs a little bit frustrated, went to go get my tea, and I grabbed the I Love My Wife mug that I always love to use to shift my energy and remind me how lucky I am, and to dissipate or dissolve the interference that I created in this stupid argument, which all of them are. And it slipped out of my hand and I broke the mug. So my wife came down after, our little dispute and saw the broken mug, and she still, I don't think, believes the fact that I didn't intentionally break it. And then ironically, I bought a new one, and we weren't really in a tip or whatever, but we were definitely not in 100% alignment. And once again, I broke the I Love My Wife mug. And so I bought 2 more.
That's a great story. I wonder what happened in the movie.
I'm not sure she still believes I didn't break them on purpose.
No.
I got fumbly fingers, man. That's it.
Speaking of handsome, John, good morning. How are you?
And good morning. David, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you. I was super excited to have you come on, especially the early edition. It's nice to have you.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's very early where you are.
Yeah, well, we wake up very early, so we don't get too much interference at the beginning of the day. We wait for the fires to come later.
Well, I wanted to give a shout out to that person I saw in the chat who's here from India. Good for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. John,
international fans of Craig Siegel.
John, where are you down in from? Where are you?
I'm down here in sunny and a little bit cold today, Clearwater, Florida.
Nice.
Oh, Frenchies. Have Frenchies for lunch on me, buddy.
Gotta love Frenchies, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I want to just dive right in. Such a treat to have you in front of our communities and so forth. You wrote a whole book about this, but maybe you could share one nugget. I see a lot of people struggling with this. What is something that you've identified to be very valuable in which someone can begin to unlock their own purpose here?
Yeah, I want to pick up on something David was talking about, and that's service. And this past year, I've gone through 2 really hard events. I lost my sister in May to pancreatic cancer, such a devastating disease, and I feel for anyone who's got loved ones who are suffering or who've been through this. And then 4 months later, we got hit this year by 3 hurricanes, and the second one, Hurricane Helene, put about 3 foot of water in my house. And so we lost all of our belongings. It was devastating. And the crazy thing when you don't think about it is there were 15,000 other houses in the Tampa Bay area that also got impacted. It's just mind-boggling. But I came out of this at first really in despair, and it was hard to even do my podcast episodes or concentrate on the books. But as I was going through this, one night I had an epiphany, and it's something I talk about in the book about the power of perspective, and it's using both and thinking. Meaning, I could both be filled with devastation and remorse about my sister's death and feel immense gratitude that I got to spend 50 years with my best friend, my confidant, and someone who meant the world to me. I could, be in the shallows of losing everything that I own from the flood and think about it that it's giving my fiance a new life to rebuild, to start anew, to buy everything new. So it's a fresh start for both of us. So I don't think we dive deep enough into this power of both and thinking and how it can benefit us, especially when we think about gratitude and its immense power.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, John.
Yeah,
Dave,
so I'm sorry and happy for you, John, but I laughed, not because of the situation, but more because Grant Cardone's in here and he's going to laugh at this as well. Albert Preciado's in here. He's going to laugh as well. These guys coach a lot of guys, but I joke around with those guys saying, I make a fortune, including off of Craig Siegel, by the way, with one answer, with one answer. How many times when you're coaching someone, John and Craig, do they ask you, what should I do? This or this? And I say, both and. That's all I say. And I'm thinking to myself, gosh, I can't believe that, people can't figure this out on their own, the both and strategy. And it is aligned with the expansive knowledge and the expansive world that we live in, utilizing two things. When things like that happen, when our houses flood, when we lose everything, when we lose a loved one, we need to seek wisdom in the process of grieving and other things that we need to learn. But the other component that shortens that distance of resistance that says, John, you can't do the podcast, you can't write books anymore, you need, it is to me the faith side of it, the spirituality of expansiveness, is that we are here to expand, grow, and learn. And in the human experience, it's so difficult. My mom's has dementia, and I'm usually down there at this time to be there when she wakes up. Then she starts realizing that she's repeating herself, so she kicks me out. Then I'm driving home, and she calls me, says, "Hey, are you coming?" And so, knowing that in the infinite, that I'm doing the best thing for her that I can, but in the human experience, it sucks shit. And so I use the both and philosophy every day I'm down there to remind myself exactly what you're reminding yourself, that there's more to the human experience than just the suckiness of our houses flooding and losing our loved ones, or them being sick.
yeah, beautiful share. Beautiful, both of you sharing the vulnerability. Thank you for that. Before we bring our second guest, John, I wanted to ask you, you are the king of living intentionally. That's a big word for you. I know it is for Dave and I too. How valuable, how important has that been for you to just live on purpose, live with intention?
Man, I think it's everything. And I think people end up not really understanding what it means. Meaning they hear the word, but they don't live the word. And for me, it really comes down to this whole idea of self-control. Meaning you can have all the passion and perseverance that you want, but if you're not intentionally applying it in the direction that's taking your life the way you want it to go, you're going to end up finding yourself in a valley of despair and stuckness. And so you really have to have that self-control to think about the choices that you're making. And do they align with your values? Do they align with the person you want to become? Do they align with the superpowers that you have? And to me, that's what intentionality is all about, is the micro choices that we make and aligning them with where our destiny and our greatness lies.
Beautiful. Dave, what's coming through for you?
Yeah, what's coming through is, the singularity of a divine direction, in an intentional of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe in that divine direction. But I think critical to that is the reaction to fear. How are we disciplined in the impulse and controlling the impulse, which is a reaction to fear, a need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, worried, all these interfering energies that cause us to have to work harder to get into the divine direction and allow divine time to reveal that expansion that we've been talking about. So, so many people, they're not intentional, and I'll take your calendar, for example. I teach being intentional with your time and your calendar. I call it being a student of your calendar. And when I start asking questions of people, when they tell me, oh, I'm intentional about my time, I'll ask them questions and I'll say, no, you're not. You look at your calendar you look at your calendar. That's not being intentional. Tell me what you're doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing with the 24 hours of your day in the divine direction according to the circumstances of today. And what meaning do you need to give the past to get there in a faster way, a more successful way? Then you're being intentional, and you'll need to control the impulses that will set you in a trajectory that interferes with that divine direction. So those are, whether, as chairman of the Napoleon Hill Institute, one of the key components of Napoleon Hill, singularity of focus, control of impulse. And that's exactly what John and I and you, Craig, try to empower people with, is a singularity of intentional purpose and control of impulse.
Beautiful. Beautiful. John, before we let you go, we bring on our second guest. What's the best way for our community to maybe support or get involved with what you're up to?
Man, well, thank you both for having me on the show. Craig, I love your show. David, I always love everything that you're doing. Such a huge fan of both of you. I'm just going to give you a takeaway. I think David just brought up something so important, and that's our spirituality. I just did an episode with Dr. Lisa Miller on the science of spirituality, where we totally deep dive this on the Passion Struck podcast. And this coming week, I have a phenomenal interview on this as well with this badass woman, Heather Moyse. She's won 2 gold medals for Canada, was the first Canadian ever inducted into the World Rugby Hall of Fame. And she is living with intentional mindset, and that's what's allowed her to do all the things she has in life. So check out those episodes on Passion Struck, and you can find everything about me at passionstruck.com.
Beautiful. Love that.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank
Man,
you, John.
always great seeing you, man. The honor, such an honor to be here. Thank you both.
John, have
See
a
you
good rest of
soon.
the
Let's
weekend.
do more.
Sounds good, man.
All right, Dave, I'm going to bring my guest too. Phenomenal conversation.
Yeah, we're on fire. Speaking of fire, look who it is.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good morning, Ashley. Great to see you again. How are you?
I am well.
Where are you right now? Where are you down in from?
I'm in Atlanta.
Nice.
Yes. What about you guys?
I'm in Manhattan, where I met you, and Dave?
California.
Gotcha.
I'm in Southern California.
Nice.
But I'll be coming your way
having
soon.
Let's dive right in right now. What a treat. The building wealth queen and so much more. I just wanted to ask you straight up, how much of making money and building wealth comes down to mindset, Ashley?
I think 99.9% of it. I think it's all about more so your identity. How do you see yourself, the role of money in your life, and your ability to create it? And I think once we recognize the power that we have internally, I think it'll impact everything on the outside. And so for me, everything is mindset. And especially when you're building a business and really trying to step outside your comfort zone to become someone you've never been, absolutely, your mindset dominates everything.
Ooh, Hamilton's got nuggets, Dave.
Yeah, well, Ashley has an understanding and a relationship with money. And a lot of people don't look at it as a relationship because it's an energy. And so they have an energetic as well as a genetic inheritance, just like a drinking problem, just like some sort of skill or knowledge that's been brought down. We actually own that, and we have a basement to build from. And so utilizing the mindset, heart set, and handset of that relationship, I do think one of the things a lot of people don't put into the context of being able to believe and achieve any type of wealth is faith itself.
Mm-hmm.
When I started to look at the universe or God as being abundant in its nature, that there's more than enough, I'm so competitive, and I was born to be competitive. I got short man disease. Craig's gotten over it because he's at like 5'2". He got over it faster than me. But I have short man disease, so I was hyper competitive. And so I always thought that if every dollar I made was a dollar that somebody else could not make. And when I looked at the infinite loop in that relationship with money, that I could only create more wealth for other people by creating wealth for myself, and know that with faith that God has more than enough for me and everyone. And I just got to figure out what I'm doing to interfere with it. And that scarcity, that comparative nature causes so much interference and limitation to so many people with their own wealth. Or the other problem I had with short man disease was just I identified me as money. So if, you know, I was worth over $100 million, I remember my wife saying, "What's the matter?" I said, "My account went down $100. And she's like, "What the F are you talking about?" I'm like, "My account went down." She goes, "Are you kidding me?" You know, like it's like someone that weighs themselves 5 times a day and, you know, they're 80% water and they're like, "Oh my God, I gained 0.1 ounces. I'm going to have to diet more." You know, it's ridiculous what people do to themselves. And I personally made myself a victim by being scarce and not understanding abundance.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, beautiful. Ashley, I love your story. Both of us kind of pivoted from Wall Street and started something different. You're still relatively in finance and so forth, but you said in entrepreneurship, I saw you write it. I thought this was so relatable that when you start entrepreneurship, every day you still wake up a little bit scared, right? Because but you do it anyway, and you continue to step outside your comfort zone. Is that true for you to this day, or the more success you had, that goes away?
Yeah, as you were talking, I said I wake up scared every day. I'm at a point in business where I think 95% of what I do, I've never done before. Like I literally was just talking to my coach, the people that I need to hire, the growing pains that we're going through now, the solutions to it is something I've never seen before. I didn't learn it in school. I didn't learn it in my past building my company Amplify. And so you do it scared. I think what keeps you going are those small wins. It's the lives that you impact. When the numbers start to tell a story, it's like, okay, we must be doing something right. It feels crazy, but I'm going to keep going. I always tell people, regardless, you have to be a crazy person to run a business. It sounds so sexy. You have to be absolutely a crazy person, because I realized, like, hey, like our company grew over 700% in the past 3 years. And it's like, I know what that feels like, and it hurts, but I'm a crazy person because I wake up every day and I choose to keep going. And that's a conscious choice. And I think when you do things for more than just money, it becomes more purposeful. I always say I'm in too deep to get out, and I know too much to go back. But it is a fulfilling thing. And I think you could pay me $100 million right now, and I would wake up and do the same thing every day, because I love the evolution of Ashley. I love the impact of what we are doing. And I am that crazy person. So, which is a mindset, and it's not for everybody, but I don't know what life feels like if I'm not uncomfortable. And I think I've grown accustomed to being uncomfortable, and I learned how to sit in the discomfort.
Ooh, the conscious choice. Good
Yeah.
stuff, Dave.
Yeah, well, you gotta be an idiot to have employees in overhead. And the more employees in overhead that you have, the crazier we are. You know, what's interesting, what comes to me listening to Ashley is a paradigm shift of mine. And I think that's why we named the show Paradigm Shift, which is fear is omnipresent. So, you know, what you're afraid of varies determined upon many different variables. But what is so interesting is how we react to that fear. And I think where Ashley has expanded and developed great skill sets is in the reaction to that fear every morning, as she has more employees and more overhead, and they're doing things in the learning zone, not the anxiety zone. Fear is omnipresent. And the instant and obvious thing that we can work on is how are we reacting to the omnipresent fear. And I use time to measure the progress that I make. So how long am I worried today? How long am I angry today? How fast did it take me to identify that I'm offended? And how fast did it take me to get back to ease? And when fear causes me to react again or interfere with my progress, then I utilize time again to improve upon that divine direction. Because one thing is sure, we're going to have detours all day long. And your detours can either make you a victim, or they can elevate your awareness to divinity. They can be the same as God. They can protect you, promote you, perfect you. That's what these detours are. And you can see the promotion, protection, and perfection in Ashley as she's grown 700%. She's expanded her business 700%. And within that, a lot of pain, a lot of detours, but has come that promotion, protection, and perfection, and even love that inspires her with a higher purpose, notating that her purpose is greater than her pain every day. And that's why she won't quit, because her purpose is greater than that pain. And that pain will always be there. When she grows 1,400% in 2025, she'll still have that pain.
That was
And I
awesome.
think that takes a lot of peace and awareness to be able to know when you feel that pain, to not even just identify with it, but to recognize it and understand it's outside of you. But even listening to you, when I think about the fears that I have and the not knowing, I have no reason to be afraid because I've never even experienced in the first place. I think we just find peace and comfort in the knowing, but it's in the unknowing that you evolve into a new being. You become a completely different person.
Can you have certainty in the unknown?
So I do. So yes, I don't have it 100% of the day, but when I become conscious, it's kind of like, well, I know where I'm going. I know I'm gonna get there. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. I think the discomfort comes in the how. So I don't know the how. I know the sometimes I don't even know the what, but I know the destination and I know the why and I know the who's going to get it done. It's the in-between part that is a little bit foggy. But when I think about just me as a person, I didn't always know my how. Most of the times, even when I left Wall Street, I didn't know how I was going to figure it out. I just knew I was going to figure it out, and I knew it was going to be me who was going to be able to do this. But I think it's finding peace in the unknown and knowing you're not going to know the how and not obsess over the how. Just allow the how to come about and be okay with that process.
It sounds like you have a strong relationship and connection with.
Yeah, I have a spiritual advisor. I got 2 executive coaches. I got a whole team around me. Yes.
It's obvious.
That's the only way this is gonna work.
Yes. This is the perfect conversation. Thank you both for today. Before we land the plane, I wanted to ask you, what is something you're teaching your students in your community, or maybe encouraging them to invest in 2025, other than the most important investment, to invest on themselves?
I don't think there's any other investment. I think it's investing in. So I don't even have a money answer for you. So I can't give you a money answer because I don't think that is the number one thing. I think. Okay, I can't say. Can I give you another word for ourselves? I think it's investing in your abundance. How about that? Investing in your abundance and not being afraid of it. I think society, our past conditioning, our upbringing, the government kind of sways our mind to believe we can have and deserve certain things. And there's no external factor that dictates your future, your financial future, your personal future, your emotional future. And I think when we all realize that we have the power to create our life, that we have the pen, that we have the notebook, and that we are the writer, I think we hold all the power. And so I would say we need to start investing in our abundance. Maybe we need to dream a little bit bigger and understand that we are more than capable of achieving whatever it is that we want. And I think when we quiet the thoughts and allow the allowing to come about, I think the abundance will show itself. And so I think we should dream a little bit bigger, invest in a little bit more abundance to show ourselves that we can do whatever it is that we want.
I love the word allowing. Dave, same frequency?
Absolutely. You'll never overachieve your own self-image. You'll never overachieve your own imagination. And so Ashley's spot on. Invest in yourself. Align all external values and external investments with your timing and risk tolerance, which comes from within yourself. Notate how your skills, knowledge, and desire are aligned with what's doing well, what's stable, and what you think will do well in the future. But look within. You can't see outside of you what you can't find inside of you, and that's the best investment you can make, including your own self-image. So invest in that self-image. You'll never overachieve it. I appreciate you, my brother. Let's find out where everybody can reach out to Ashley. She is a genius. That means she's an expression of God.
100%. Ashley, what are you most excited about right now? How can our communities maybe get involved or support?
You know, I'm just learning and growing. I am in the most uncomfortable space of my life. I have made the most money I've ever made in life. I have the biggest business I've ever had in life. And I am the scariest I've ever been, but also the happiest I have ever been. So I am just allowing every day and trusting the process, and know that maybe my past performance can predict some future results for me. And just being okay with that process. So I'm just excited to figure it out, to be honest.
Beautiful. And I know you have an awesome community. We'll put that stuff in the show notes. And Dave, where are you going to be traveling? Where can our people find you and give you a hug on the road?
Yeah, we're all over the place. DC, San Antonio with Carnegie, back to DC, London, and then Egypt. But most importantly, I want to wish everyone, my favorite holiday is coming up before our next show. So I want to wish everyone an amazing Thanksgiving. Please remember the easiest and fastest way to change your life is to simply say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up. Gratitude will allow you to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything you do. I think Ashley is an illustration of gratitude. By far, it'll get you everywhere that you want to be or better. I want to thank you, Craig, for doing 192 of these shows without missing and bringing on extraordinary guests to join us every single week. I can't believe we've done this for so long. But Ashley, give me a big smile because everyone's commenting about your smile. I'm grateful for your smile most of all. I got to go to my spiritual healer. I'm 2 minutes late, but I love you both.
Love you both.
Bye, guys.
Ashley, thank you. We'll connect offline. Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.